Hey everyone. So I just wanted to take a little bit of time to explain how attendance works for the online classes. Now, if you have already taken some online classes here at ATA, this might not be a ton of new information for you, but I still suggest watching the video because depending on when you took an online class, there might be some small but significant changes to how the attendance process works. So I do suggest watching. I'm going to try not to take too long, but this is a pretty important element of being in an online course. So I want to be thorough and make sure that everyone gets the information they need. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen so that we can see. Goodness, maybe I'll get there eventually. But we're going to look at what you see when you click on attendance and weekly deadlines under the Getting Started tab. You're already there right now if you're watching this video. But I want to be able to point your attention to where this information can be found in the written version underneath the video. Okay. So we all know that attendance is pretty crucial when it comes to doing well in a class, right? You got to show up every week. You got to be engaged, paying attention, learning, right? When we do that on campus, we know that we have to be there, and we know that we have to pay attention to what the instructor is teaching, any discussions, any group work, things like that. But it's just as important to be present for an online course as well. Right? But how exactly does attendance get recorded in an online class? Because you have a whole week to log in and do the work, right? So how do we make sure that you're counted present every week? That's what we're going to cover, right? It's not so difficult to think about when you have a class on campus, right? You know that you are supposed to be there on a certain day of the week at a certain time. If you show up, you're present. If you don't show up, you're marked absent. Pretty easy, right? You also know that you'll be in that class for, we'll say 4 hours, and you're going to have a little bit of homework afterwards that is due the following week when you go back, right? So you will have spent a certain amount of hours in class throughout the whole term. If you're in my Humanities 201 class, you will have spent 30 hours in class and about 15 hours on outside work throughout the term. That breaks down to 3 hours a week in class and about an hour and a half of outside work. If you're in one of the comp classes, that breaks down to 40 hours of in-class work throughout the term and 20 hours of homework, outside work throughout the term. That's a total of 60. So that breaks down to 4 hours of in-class time and 2 hours of homework each week. So for Humanities 201, every week you should be involved with this course for roughly 4.5 to 5 hours every week. For the comp classes, you should be involved in this class for 6 hours each week, right? Normally, a good chunk of that would be in the classroom, but you got to do it all online. And it's totally up to you when you do it during the week. But how do we make sure that you get marked present? Because there are some things that count and some things that don't. So what you need to know first is that every week begins at 12:01 a.m. Monday. It's like Sunday night going into Monday. 12:01, the week begins. It ends at 11:59 p.m. the following Sunday. So you get 7 days to go through the material and complete the assignments. How do you get marked present for that week? You have to submit a graded item every week. Going through PowerPoints, handouts, watching videos, none of that counts towards attendance. So you can go through all the PowerPoints, watch all the videos. That doesn't get you marked present for that week. To be marked present, you have to submit a graded item. Normally, that shouldn't be a problem. If you're staying on top of everything, the week begins and at some point you start going through the lessons and learning the material, and then you do the assignments that are due Sunday night, and you're fine. You're marked present every week. However, we all know that sometimes life gets in the way or other classes get in the way, and maybe you don't have time to go through everything that week. If you don't submit an assignment, you would get marked absent, right? And you want to pay close attention to your attendance because you can only miss 2 classes, because if you miss more than that, you're at risk of being withdrawn from the class, right? So you want to make sure that you're getting marked present every week so that you don't have to worry about that. But you have to submit a graded item every week in order to achieve that, right? But what happens if you do have one of those busy weeks and you just can't go through the lessons, you just can't get to the assignments? Do you just have to be absent? Well, no, because we have attendance quizzes every week. It does not factor into your overall grade, but it does count as a graded item. So to start every week, there will be an attendance quiz that you have to take. And in fact, you can't access the rest of that week's material until you take the attendance quiz. So for instance, when you click on week 3 module, the only thing you'll see under that is week 3 attendance quiz. Once you submit the quiz and go back to week 3 module, then all of the lessons and assignments will appear like magic, right? It'll be that way every week, including week 1. Week 1 through week 10, you have to take that attendance quiz in order to access that week's material. This is to help ensure that you are triggering your attendance every week because, nobody wants to go into a week and not know what lessons and assignments they have to do. So in order to see what's in store for you that week, you take the attendance quiz, right? Now you might not do the work until later in the week, and that's fine, but at least you've triggered your attendance and you'll get marked present. You don't have to worry about that anymore. Because maybe let's say, you're like, okay, I'm going to take the week 1 attendance quiz today. Let's say it's Monday. And I'm going to do the work like on Friday, right? Do Sunday night. I'm going to do it on Friday, but I'm going to take the week 1 attendance quiz now so I can see what lessons I have to go through, what homework assignments I have to do, that sort of thing. You do that, you take the week 1 attendance quiz and you see what's in store for you, and Friday rolls around and something happens and you can't get to it. You can't go back and do the work. And then Saturday and Sunday are the same thing. And you don't end up doing any graded items for week 1. Normally you would get marked absent, right? But you took that week 1 attendance quiz. So you're good in terms of that, at least. You will at least get marked present for the week. You'll have to come back and catch up, right? But at least you're not having to worry about attendance. So what about those attendance quizzes? They don't get factored into your overall grade. However, and this is something that might be new for those of you who have already taken online classes with us, the attendance quizzes are now related to the course content. What does that mean? Well, it means for the week 1 attendance quiz, you have to watch or read through the material here in the attendance and weekly deadlines section, and you have to watch the video in the how to find your way around, right here, the one that's right after, right? You have to go through these 2 items to be able to answer the questions on the week 1 attendance quiz. Once you do that, then you have access to everything else in week 1, and you'll get marked present for week 1. Week two, the week two attendance quiz, the questions will consist of material from week one. So in order to answer the questions on the week two attendance quiz, you'll need to have gone through the material in week one to answer those questions and submit the quiz, get counted present, and have access to week two. Week three's attendance quiz, those questions will be over the material from week two, right? So you'll have to have gone through week two to answer those questions to get marked present and have access to week three, and so on and so forth. So this helps not only make sure that you're triggering your attendance every week so that you can see what lessons and assignments you have to do that week, but it will hopefully be an incentive to not fall too far behind in the class. Because, you know, if you haven't gone through the week two material yet, you're not going to be able to answer the questions on the week three attendance quiz, but you have to submit the week three attendance quiz in order to access the material and assignments for week three, right? So staying on top of everything will be helpful all around. So if you have a week though, where you just can't, you're sick, your kids are sick, you got like 2 or 3 other classes that are just hammering you with homework all at the same time, you might have to put my class on the back burner, right? If you can at least go through the lessons, then you'll be able to take the next week's attendance quiz. If not, if you can't get to my class at all, can't even look at it, can't even think about it, then just know that when week three starts, in order to access that week, you will have to go back and catch up so that you can take that attendance quiz and access that current week. And I'm using weeks 2 and 3 as an example, but it applies to every week of the term. The attendance quiz for any given week is based on the material from the previous week. Hopefully that will help you not only trigger your attendance and get marked present every week, but also keep you from falling too far behind. It's going to happen every once in a while because it's life, but hopefully it will motivate you to catch up sooner rather than later. Because then if it keeps snowballing, you're going to have weeks of material to get through just to take the attendance quiz and access all of the weeks that you haven't worked on yet. So hopefully this is just a good thing all around to help you get marked present every week and to motivate you to not fall behind and put yourself in a really tough spot. Okay. Obviously, life happens. When it does, we just do the best we can to catch up and keep moving forward, right? Okay, once again, don't worry about your grade as far as attendance goes, right? The attendance quizzes are there just to help you stay on track and to help trigger your attendance. They do not get factored into your overall grade, right? So again, that has to be done by 11:59 p.m. every Sunday. I do suggest taking that attendance quiz earlier in the week. Again, not only to ensure that you don't forget about your attendance, but also to see what's in store for you for that week, what lessons and assignments. The worst thing would be to wait until Sunday afternoon to trigger your attendance, and then all of a sudden it's a heavy week, or maybe there's an assignment that's worth a really big part of your grade, and now you only have until 11:59 to get it done. So take the quiz early in the week so you get marked present and you see what's in store for the week, and then decide when you're going to work on everything, right? Everything's due by Sunday at 11:59. And if you have not triggered your attendance yet by Sunday afternoon, I will send out messages to those of you who still need to, just little friendly reminders, so that, we can all make sure that we're moving forward together. But please keep in mind that your attendance is not the same thing as your course progress and your grade. So no matter what, if you don't get to all of the assignments in a given week, make sure you go back and do them. Whether it's because you didn't get marked present or life just got in the way, don't think that just because you didn't take the attendance quiz the previous week that you just keep moving forward, right? You want to make sure you're getting points for assignments, even if they're late. So, make sure you're catching up on anything you miss, because attendance is something completely different than your grade, right? The other thing is that the only time that the Sunday night deadline does not apply is in week 10. Week 10 is a short week. So instead of having from Monday to Sunday to trigger your attendance, you only have from Monday to Thursday night to trigger your attendance. Now, your final exam or final essay, depending on the class you're in, those are going to be due Wednesday night of week 10. So hopefully you have already triggered your attendance and completed everything for the class by Wednesday night anyway. But just a little reminder that week 10 is a short week. Everything closes Thursday night at 11:59 p.m. Okay. If you have any questions about attendance, especially the attendance quizzes and how those are working, the questions being based on the previous week's material. If there's ever a time where you are in a crunch, you got a busy week, you're sick, kids are sick, whatever, reach out to me. I can maybe help you figure out okay, what should you go through to make sure that you're not falling too far behind and able to trigger, take those quizzes every week. And we'll work it out together, right? Don't just think you're an island unto yourself out there in this weird virtual space in the class by yourself. I'm here, okay? Whether it's attendance, homework, whatever the case may be, if you have questions about any of these technical things and these policies, please reach out, okay? The last thing I want to point out is this chart here that's underneath the written material. It shows you week 1, when the week opens and when the week closes. It has the specific dates for this term, so that you can see where we are in the term as the months progress. It might help you plan things ahead of time as well. But it's there and it'll be there for the whole term if you need to come back to it. Okay. If you don't have any questions, feel free to move on to the next item.